Hey there, Tarot Tube. So this is another VR. I've been inspired by Tony over at Antoinette Tarot and Jewelry. Links here, there, or somewhere. You'll find it. And the tag is called Seance Circle Spread. Now, when Tony suggested to me that I might like doing this, I had to sit with that for a few days because I'm not going to joke with you. And I'm just going to say I felt a little scared. Like, yeah, but what if I pull something and it's really hard and then it's out there? But you know what? Here we go. We're just going to do it. So I'm fortifying myself with a nice cup of tea. And shout out to Mrs. Robinson's Tea Shop, which is in Kennett Square, New Jersey. And I don't think overseas would be a good choice for shipping. But if you're in the U.S., I highly recommend. Yep, so I'm having a little carrot cake. Feels very seasonal, feels very yummy. Taking a deep breath. I can do this, right? Right. We need decorations. I'm very inspired by all of Tony's fancy things that she used. So I pulled out a scarf which has stains, but you can't see it. I'm feeling very chatty. All right, so here we go. A spirit photography, a photo deck. Now, I should have separated this before, but I didn't. So we'll just talk while I do that. So I have to separate this into court and one major, or I could just pull. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. So first I'll just introduce you to the deck. This is the Augenblick Oracle, and it is photography, lots of sepia tones, and it feels very, I don't know, world ancestry to me. So, yep, we'll just do this, and I'll draw until I get a court, and then I'll draw until I get a major. That'll be much, much faster than separating. I do have decks that are separated into the three sections, but this isn't one of them, and I hit the record button. Here we are. Oops, I'll just let that sit there. I'm really, you know, I put lotion on my hands so that I would look fabulous, and now I'm regretting it. So, yep. Okay, we'll do it this way. Here we go. I'm going to pick from this pile. Aren't these backs gorgeous? And then I guess what I'll do is sort of zoom in and zoom out as the spread builds. All right, so the first, these are significator cards, and the first one I'm looking for is a court card. Seven of Swords, that doesn't make the cut. There we go. Knight of Cups. And now I'm looking for a major. Let's see. And look, I got it pretty fast. The World. Okay, so these are my two significator cards. And remember I said at the beginning, it kind of reminds me of, you know, just like the ancestors of the world. So I'm going to say that this is me in search of meaning. All up in my feels. And this is the world. So I'm calling on ancestors of the entire world. And let's see, now I gotta zoom out a little bit. And I'm realizing that I'm not sure what shape I'm supposed to put this in because I watched, but then I didn't. Yeah, I don't remember. Okay, so we're just gonna roll with it. All right, the next one is a personal item, a deck of objects to summon and invite spirit. So I chose to use the Literary Witches Oracle, and this one I did separate because it's got two parts, which I trimmed and edged, and oops, see, there's one that I didn't catch. There it is. So part of the deck is all these literary figures, literary witches, and part of the deck is objects. So let's do this off camera a little bit. Do a little overhand. Just give you the old ASMR. A personal item, a deck to invite spirit. Okay, let's see what the item is that we're using to invite spirit. An apple. Oh, that's really, you know, very seasonal. Let's pull out a little, whoops, the wrong way. Pull out a little bit more. So an apple, you know what? Let's just go ahead and see what our creators have to say about the apple, which is materials. the senses, hunger, and sex. I'm going to drop the sex. I'm not prepared to go in that direction at this time. We'll use an apple as a summoning item, which is materials to summon spirit to talk to us. Nice apple to treat you. Okay, here we go. Invocation, a spirit guide deck to invite, see what spirit's going to show up. And I had a hard time with this, picking out which deck to use. And I finally settled on the angels and ancestors. And one thing I would like to say when I use this is that this on the back is from indigenous people. I believe the Sami, S-A-M-I, probably not the way it was originally spelled, but they weren't credited in the book, so I like to say that. And those people are currently engaged in a little bit of a fight over, I'm trying to remember what it is. They're in an energy department somewhere, struggling for indigenous rights, so we'll remember them right now. Okay, how does spirit show up? No, we're a card to invite spirit to talk to us. Right, so this is the summoning, the card to invite. And, oh, I'm going to go with the upside down one. Spring, to see your seeds grow. All right, so maybe, there are pretty much visible seeds in an apple. Card to invite spirit. All right, so maybe let's invite spirit by saying whatever message I get, I can use it as a seed to help me grow. Yeah, we'll go with that. That makes sense, right? All right, the next one is, I got my notes, Poltergeist, a trickster cheeky deck. How does spirit show up? What signs do we need to look for to know how to know they are around? All right, so here I couldn't decide. I have these two decks, and I was like, well, I got to get started. So this one, I know this deck better, so I'm going to go with that since this is sharing. But I will say this one is definitely better known. If you haven't looked at this, and I'll show you a couple of cards. It's these beautiful white background with these, I don't know what the medium is exactly. It kind of looks like watercolor to me, but it's really beautiful, right? I find it a little hard to read. So, yeah. But, I showed you something. And it is called A Trickster's Journey, so pretty appropriate. But we're going to go with the Foxfire, which is, I'm a little bit more in tune with Fox energy, and I have used this deck quite a bit this year. I found it truly useful. Okay, so we are looking for, how does spirit show up, and what signs do we need to look for to know they are around? Okay. Hope. Okay, I like that. So what's kind of what made me sort of chuckle about that is I have a Christmas ornament that was given to me by someone I was a Girl Scout leader, and she was one of the leaders, and she gave it to me as a little gift one year, and I like it so much. It's out all year round. Hope. And here, this very seasonal right now. We are in autumn. I put it there. We have quite an interesting assortment of art styles here, right? Okay, so hope is the message that we get for what signs we need to look for to know they are around. So I guess it could be either I see my Christmas ornament that says hope, or I could just be aware of that feeling, and then that could be like a little tip off for me that spirit's around. Okay, the next one is going to be how does spirit show up in dreams or vision? So I was looking for a deck that kind of felt sort of dreamy to me, and also one of the little cues was a FOMO deck, and this turned out to be a FOMO deck. It's like I didn't know when it came out, and then I found out like a couple months later, oh, this deck is out, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get it now, and it just like ran out and bought it immediately. So I guess that counts. And I haven't edged it or anything yet, but it's the Sacred Sheet Tarot, and it really hits me where I am in my personal journey right now, spiritually, politically, just sort of where I am in my life. It's really a great deck for me for right now. All right, and this is how does spirit show up in dreams or visions? Do you dream in color? You know, I'd be curious, if you get this far in the video and you don't mind sharing, I'm always curious who dreams in color, because not everybody does. All right. Harmony. Oh, how lovely. Look at the 3 dolphins. So I always think of the 3 dolphins, not just as harmony, but also love. And so let's just look at the different kinds of things that are in this card that might be a tip off for me. And this is saying, what is the cue? Show up in dreams or visions. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. So this could be something that could come to me maybe as I was just sort of walking around spacing out, or during meditation, or any kind of dreamy moment. Not paying attention to my work. Did I say that out loud? I'm feeling very silly today. Okay, so yep. All right, so I'll be on the lookout for that showing up. Now the next one, I didn't really have much to choose from. Crystal Ball, a round deck, the focus of the message today, and that is Mother Peace. Now Mother Peace was actually one of my very first decks many moons ago, and I had the full-size one, and then it went, I don't know where it went. It was a long time ago. So now I just have the mini, and I basically sort of reacquired it. I did buy it. I repurchased it just because I wanted to have it in my collection and sort of a remembrance of origins and things like that. But to be perfectly honest, I do not ever use it. So yeah. All right, let's see. I feel like just spreading now. This one. And this is focus of the message today. The Son of Discs. I might look at the book, but I'm thinking stay on target, stay focused. Stay focused, stay focused. Well, so far, the only thing I could think of about staying focused is all the little clues, that might be tapping, giving me a little tap on the shoulder to say, pay attention, pay attention. So, yeah, the focus of the message is to focus, to stay on task. All right, channeling. A deck that feels channeled or inspired. So this, going to my old fave, the SKT, Spirit Keepers Revelation Edition. This is this the first printing? Yeah, I think this is the first printing. Put the significators out, and let's see what we get for this one. So now what I'm looking for is the beginning of the message from Spirit. And I've got 4 more cards and then a closing. So maybe I think what I'll do is I'll put the message down here. Yeah, that'll work. I'll put the message down here, and then that little Let's stick that up there. Here, this is like my third eye. Stay focused. And put message down here, and then that closing. Okay, I think I've got a good arrangement, even though I was given guidance for an arrangement, and I did not take it. All right, I need a little sip of tea because I'm talking a lot. Sip of tea. All right. Now I feel like I needed to do another little shuffle. It's just what I'm feeling. The beginning of the message from Spirit. Yeah, I'm breathing because I'm feeling a little scared. Need to ground. Okay. Oh, that's very sweet. So the beginning of message from Spirit is what Benabel Wen calls the healer, and it's actually called Gifts of the Spirit. And I think it's worth, I'm not going to pull out the really big book, but let's just see what Benabel's got to say about this. She is probably the biggest influence. Well, there are many people that I've studied their work, but she's definitely the biggest influence on me. Do not lose hope. Where's my hope card? There. Do not lose hope. The fragments of your broken world will be healed. This is the omen of restoration, of rebuilding, solving, and alleviating your pains. When the healer is making her presence known, it is the prophecy that a blessing is soon to be conferred. You have overcome a brutal yet necessary trial in your life, and now is a time for healing your battle wounds. With your goodness, you revitalize the world around you. Pictured here is Kuan Yin. I think I have a Kuan Yin deck someplace. Anyway, the Buddhist Bodhisattva, I'm not even going to try, of mercy and compassion. Upon her crown, Amido Fu, the Shinto shrine in the background, honors beneficent nature spirits. Born Shinto, die Buddhist is expressed here. What had been taken from you shall be restored in even greater glory than before. Oops, I put that off to the side. Well, may it be so. May it be so. So might it be. Okay, I like that. I'm not going to, tell you my personal story here, but that's resonating on a lot of different levels in a very hopeful way. It's not like, oh yeah, that's definitely happening. It's like, boy, oh boy, I really hope you're right about this. I can go for that. Okay, so there's the healer. The next one on this little message here, that was the beginning of the message. Now we're going to get a card to clarify card 7 message. So it's interesting, when I was going through trying to pick out the decks that I wanted to use for this, I was like, well, what in the world is going to follow SKT? I don't know. But I chose Sasurabido, and yeah. Now this is a deck that I've used a lot because it's a good travel deck, and so I used it an awful lot because of that. But I frequently do go ahead and see what the creator suggests for her cards. It's one of my very favorite decks for shuffling. It just feels so good. Okay. All right, so once again, we're looking for further clarification on how to use the healer card. I'm going to pick this one. I mean, look at the back of these cards with the bones and the moth. Oh, just gorgeous. And I got the 8 of Cups. Look at her cutting off her hair. Well, I did get my hair cut, like, was it last week or the week before? Pretty recently. So I'm basically just getting sometimes it hurts to let go of the past, but you got to do it. But let's, that's a pretty short message. Let's see what our creator suggests. Exhaustion, disappointment, release. Well, you know, what has happened in the past was really pretty disappointing, pretty tiring. And now I'm getting that release message, which I think is probably maybe good timing in a global way too. I'm not very good at astrology, kind of given up on it, but yeah. Okay, now Materialization, a haunting, supernatural deck. Further clarification on how to use these messages. And for this prompt, I chose the American Renaissance Tarot. I really feel like, because I am in America, that this like history of a very important time in American history in terms of spiritualism, it feels right. It feels right, and it feels also a little spooky. I'll let you look at some of the images before it's very American. Yeah, so before I pull a card, just to give you a little flavor of this deck, because I don't see it being talked about very much. So these are all real people, real events, real places and things. So, yep. Okay. And I always do reference this book because my historical knowledge is pretty good, but not great. Yikes. This deck is not easy to shuffle. It's big and stiff, and I'm just going to overhand it off camera. So I will definitely be looking at the guidebook for this, although I will sort of just see what I see before I look at the book, just as I did before. Okay, let's see what we got. What do we got? I hope you appreciate these backs. They're just weird. Okay. Oh my goodness. I got the star again. Wow. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. All right. Let go and let the healing, the wishes happen. But let's see what this story is, because just looking at it, I do not know who he is. And that might be interesting to find out. So here we go, the star. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole thing because look how much information. Look, it's definitely not a little white book. It's a great big old honker of a book. So let's see what their keywords are. Progressive theology, rational religion, transcendentalism, inspiration, harbinger, humanism, hope, more hope, encouragement, guidance, the Milky Way, miracle, providence, peace of mind, and a likeness to God. Hitch your wagon to a star. All right, but let's see who this fella is. That is William Ellery, a founding figure of, oh, I've gone the wrong way. William Ellery Channing, founding figure of American Unitarianism. Oh, Channing's denial of the Christian Trinity in favor of religion without a paradox at its core was a balm to 19th century Americans struggling to make sense of Christ as both God and man. The Unitarians declared that Christ was an exemplary individual, but no God, and thus appealed to thinking people who found it reasonable to believe in a creator, but not in the drama of Christ's death and resurrection. All right. So, the Unitarian Church has been a part of my life in a very peripheral way for, I'm going to say, about 35 years. That sounds right, about 35 years. Currently, I use one of their facilities every year for a piano recital for my students. But the overall vibe of Unitarianism has been really helpful to me. And if you're in the U.S., I can't say about what has happened to Unitarianism. Has it gone overseas to other places or not? But if you are searching for a community to practice your pagan, witchy stuff, a Unitarian church is a resource, actually. The one near me has a pagan group that meets. Yeah. So, all right, but what does this mean? What does it mean? Now that we've had a little ramble, the beginning of the message, clarify and further clarify. Well, this is partly because I chose this deck. So here I'm starting out with, you know, me sort of being on somewhat a spiritual quest a little bit, looking for this refreshment from this waterfall, but then getting this as saying, looking for the world, like something much bigger, much, much bigger than just me, in terms of maybe community and where I belong, and who my ancestors are. And I've felt, I've been doing a lot of ancestor work, and I've felt that as strong as my genealogical, hereditary, you know, blood ties are, the other stuff is just as strong in kind of all ways. So I think, you know, really just taking hope and wishing for things to just be better, and like maybe, you know, maybe this is it. Maybe my time is finally here. I've had a long life. I'm in my late 60s, and I've done many things. I've had a lot of things happen for me, to me, whatever. But I've never really felt like, oh, this is it. I have hit my stride, even when I've had a lot of different kinds of success. I haven't had a bad life. I'm not complaining, but I've almost always feel like, okay, not quite there yet. Maybe I'm going to get some kind of new level. Maybe I'm going to level up. I would love it if I leveled up. That would be so awesome. Okay, I'm being really authentic and honest here. I need more tea. And we have got up to our closing, our cleansing, an uplifting healing deck, a card to close the reading and say thank you and goodbye. Now, here I really couldn't decide, and I may actually use 2 decks. We'll see what the first message is, and if I feel like I want another one, I will pull another one. And the 2 decks I was flip-flopping back and forth on were Align. So this is a Kimberly Sand. She's the one that does The Way of the Panda. And she's doing her Oracle, although the Kickstarter may be done by the time this gets uploaded. But you can track her down. She also did the Spread Machine decks and stuff. So that's who that is. And then this is Angie Sullins, who has been very, very inspirational to me this year. And this is her Love Who You Are deck. I have a feeling I'm going to do both. All right, let's see. Okay, so let me put these, and let me show you this deck. So look at that fabulous holographing. She put so much into this deck. I think it was a real a healing deck for her to work on this and to get it out in the world. So I'll show you how we use it. See what I get. All right, so now I'm going to put it so I think if you can see there's like a little, what do you call it, spot gloss? There's a heart here. So what you do is you look at this, you see what the message is. I let go of the neglect I have experienced from others and myself as I tend to my own needs. Oh my gosh. Look at this and this. Look at those 2 together. Okay, all right, breathe. You got this. So then what you do is you see this, you put your finger on the heart, and then you say it to yourself. I let go of the neglect I have experienced from others and myself as I tend to my own needs. I let go of the neglect I have experienced from others and myself as I tend to my own needs. I let go of the neglect I have experienced from others and myself as I tend to my own needs. So it's a really good closing. with that affirmation. Okay, I'm not going to pull a second card, but if you have this deck, it's it's great. All right, that was a lot. Tony, thank you for suggesting that I give it a try. I kind of anticipated that it would be a lot, and it was a lot, by golly. But I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did it. And as I said, I will put the links to the original poster, as well as, and that was, you know, every time I see her little thing, I think Rummer Haven, but I think she says Rumor Haven. I guess that says something about me, that I think it's about rum. Okay, so she's the one who did it. She got the prompts, and then I found it from Tony. And it was, listen, I would encourage you to do it. And, you know, leave me a comment so I can go look at yours if you do it. And, oh yeah, do you dream in color? I would love to know that. Informal information gathering. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you being here. Bye-bye.